Hello, Trinity family. This is Pastor Dewar, and this is your Theology in 3. Today, I would like to talk about magic. Magic is something that shows up in a lot of stories that we read about today. I think it is a really interesting topic that we can look at because it exists in our world around us. Magic is real, not just in magicians who do tricks, but in actual spiritual forces. And so as Christians, I think it's something that we can talk about, we can be informed about, and Scripture says some stuff about it. So I'd like to take a look at what Scripture says, apply that first to the ancient world, and see how that applied to God's original audience for these commands. So Deuteronomy chapter 18, verses 9 through 11. When you come into the land the Lord your God is giving you, you shall not learn to follow the abominable practices of the nations. There shall not be found among you anyone who burns his son or daughter as an offering, anyone who practices divination or tells fortunes or interprets omens, or a sorcerer or a charmer or a medium or a necromancer, or anyone who inquires of the dead. For whoever does these things is an abomination to the Lord. And because of these abominations, the Lord your God is driving them out before you. So we see here God's very clear command to his people not to practice any of these magic rituals, any of these things that call upon powers outside of Yahweh God. The first thing I'd like to comment on here is the prohibition against burning a son or daughter as an offering. This is a common practice for certain religions. The Canaanites worshipped a god called Moloch. Moloch was a underworld deity, and he demanded human sacrifice. And so the Canaanites would actually sacrifice their children to this deity. And God is saying that's inappropriate. Do not do that. I'd also like to talk about magic texts. So magic spells are very common in the ancient world. They're primarily used to control the world around somebody or even the gods. Some of the gods are considered gods of magic. Isis is the Egyptian goddess of magic. So what I'd like to do is show you my copy of the Book of the Dead. This is the Egyptian Book of the Dead. It's not a Bible. The Bible is very unique in the ancient world in that God has given to his people his revealed will and word. This is a collection of magic spells. The collection of magic spells is carved onto the walls of the pyramids. And in the Old Kingdom, they're carved onto the walls of the pyramids. And these texts are here to help that deceased person reanimate, come back to life, and live in the afterlife. And so here I'd like to read just very quickly the start of one of those magic spells. This is called Greeting to Ra. This day I am with you. Stabbed by the light of the great mind, I wake. The sun crests the hill, and the hawk, according to the higher will, whirls and circumscribes the day. I am called from my house. I shuffle sand underfoot, but my heart leaps. I open, am pierced by light. A cry escapes my lips. I know not what I say. It is the language of soul beneath skin, the song of birds and acacia trees. So here we have a text, a magic spell that is there to help awaken the dead when they are placed into that tomb. And so we see here some sort of necromancy as well that is against the will of God in Deuteronomy 18, this waking of the dead. And so we have magic spells that are used to control the world around them, or even the gods in some cases. As this connects to Christmas is where our word magic comes from. The word magic comes from the Persian priest, the Persian magician, Magi. And we see that in the Matthew 2 story when Jesus is visited by a group of Magi who bring him 3 gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And so the very unusual situation to have these proponents of a foreign religion, magicians, probably using dark sorcery, who have come from far off Persia to visit the newborn king, to visit him and to kneel at his feet. To be in service to the right God, the true God of creation. It's very unique. It's very strange. It's there to make us look at that and say, what is going on? Why are these dark magicians here at the feet of Jesus? And so it's very interesting to look at the Old Testament, to look at the New Testament, look at the ancient world, and see how they thought about magic. Magic in the ancient world was defined by the relationship of humanity to the divine. Now, in the ancient world, it was a closed system. We today think of the natural and the supernatural. They're divided. But in the ancient world, it was all one thing. They were all together. You had the gods would interact with humanity and humanity with gods. The gods were not nice people. We understand our God, Yahweh, to be good, to be a good God. But in the ancient world, most of the gods were just as flawed as humans were. And so magic might be necessary to control the gods, to get them to give you what you want. And so magic spells are used for those purposes. And so in the ancient world, that's what magic is. It's a way to interact with the divine, to control the divine, to control the world around them. And in Deuteronomy 18, God is saying that's not appropriate. That is not how his people are called to act. His people are called to trust him for all that they have and all that they are. They are to trust him for their daily bread. They're to trust him for all their needs of this body and life. They're to trust him with their eternal salvation and a much more robust understanding of coming back to life than this Egyptian stuff that we've got here. And so when God gives this command to his people, it is because he wants them to trust him, to worship him alone, not these other gods, not Molech, not Ra, not the gods of the Persians. He wants them to worship him. To engage in magic is to put their trust in something else. And so that's our Old Testament look at magic. We'll talk about our modern day look at magic here next week. I pray that you have a blessed rest of your week, and I look forward to seeing you this weekend.